Hi, this is Anna Denton-Jones of Refreshing Law, and I wanted to just focus on a change in the law that's happening in September for large companies in relation to the Economic Crime and Corporate Transparency Act of 2023 in relation to a new offence of failure to prevent fraud. Now, mind shift required here. This is not about where have we got risk in our business that somebody's going to, use the company credit cards for their own personal benefit and defraud us in perhaps the traditional sense that HR might have focused on the issue. This is about other people and where a loss is going to be caused to them by the actions of our staff or our subcontractors and suppliers. So, for example, if we are contracting in the public sector, could somebody be inflating invoices so that we're actually overcharging for our service? Or if we are employing subcontractors, could they be putting in, timesheets that have been inflated so that we're in effect paying more for the service than we should be? So that's what this is about tackling, and it follows a similar model that we've seen things like the Bribery Act, the legislation about facilitating tax evasion, where the criminal law sort of incentivizes, with the threat of an unlimited fine, organisations to put their house in order and take steps to prevent something from happening. And just like bribery, there are a number of sort of key principles that apply in terms of what that might look like to prevent any improper gains being made. So, tone from the top, are allocated resources, etc. Have we done a risk assessment? Obviously, depending on your organisation and what it does and where you highlight the risks, that risk assessment will then feed into what preventative proportionate measures you're going to take to reduce the risk of fraud, but probably that's going to include having a fraud prevention plan. What due diligence are you going to be done? And it's interesting that one of the first things that I read about this suggested that that could be even monitoring the well-being of staff, in the sense that who is more likely to commit fraud? It's the person who is stressed, whose targets are horrendous, who is overloaded. So by tackling that and mitigating that as an issue, we can then prevent fraud, for example. It will also cover things like how we communicate about this within the organisation and what monitoring and review steps that we've got. So for today's session, I just wanted to flag up that this is out there and happening, so that if you are in a large organisation, which means you have more than 250 employees, you have more than a 36 million turnover, or £18 million worth of assets, you can start taking preparatory steps for September. If you aren't a large organisation, you might think, oh, phew, we don't have to worry about this. I think if you are small, you're supplying into larger organisations, you are going to start to see larger organisations maybe asking you different due diligence questions, requiring more information from you about how your invoices have been calculated, etc. I'm preparing as a lawyer to have a lot more large organisations asking me about how my bill is made up, whereas perhaps the person I'm dealing with in HR is knowledgeable about the work that I've done and perfectly happy that I'm not inflating it, but they would perhaps have to be seen to be checking these things. So I think if you are in a smaller organisation, you are going to see changes as a result of this wider change for large organisations. If you like any more information, it's adenton at refreshinglawltd.co.uk. Thank you very much.